Hello friends, as part of this video, I would like to cover just a quick process around how to submit application for Canadian citizenship. So the first step is you start with the website canada.ca and we click English. That's what I'm going to do right here. As soon as you're in the page, you're looking at immigration and citizenship, and that would take you into the entire immigration and citizenship topics. We're looking at applying for citizenship, Canadian citizenship. So apply, click that. And this is a landing page for all the citizenship related topics. Applying for citizenship, the test one has to go through to get a citizenship, details about the oath ceremony. If you want a proof of citizenship, there's process. If you want to check your eligibility, there are that. If you want to give up your citizenship, renouncing that, there are steps to take right here, and resume citizenship, right? And changes to citizenship rules and requirements to know the latest. Take part in, citizenship ceremony and other things, and then Discover Canada is the study guide that one has to go through to pass the citizenship test. All right, so all that is in this page. We are looking, as part of this video, to apply for citizenship. So let's click on apply here. As soon as you apply, this gives you who can apply, the details of who can apply, and it's quite important. If you're watching this video, I'm quite sure that you already are eligible, right? So let's look at this, right? So you should have a Canadian PR. You should have lived in Canada for at least 3 out of the last 5 years. And that would equate to 1095 days. And it's very important, last 5 years. Just from today to the last 5 years, you should be in Canada at least 3 years. This is not saying when you got your PR and things like that. It's just counting from now to the last 5 years. Okay, and you should have filed your taxes as needed. And then to get the citizenship, you would have to pass the test. That's part of the process, which comes later. And you should also have some sort of proof that, they want you to know English. If you're in certain age bracket, we can go through that. I believe 18 through 54 years. You should have that English or French. And then you finally, once you clear all this, you take citizenship oath. All right. So these are some of the eligibility criteria. And these are the ways you can apply. You can apply by paper, and if you're not, ideally you should try apply online, but if you're not, then paper. And the fees details are here. If you're 18 years and older, it's $630 per head, and if you are under 18, that's $100 per head. All right, and the goal is, whatever way you're going through, online or paper, you should pay your fees online, right? And then you can, put this as part of the paperwork if that is thing, or upload it online. So there are some of the details. The processing time, average processing time, 14 months from the first when you submit the application to all the way to, let's say, citizenship granting. It might take 14 months. So please bear that in mind. And during that time, you may have to renew your PR card, as you would need that, right? Because if you want to go in and out of country, from Canada. After obviously, once you become a citizen, you can apply for a Canadian passport, you get voting rights, and this is a perk that you get. For the first year, you can travel to all the Canadian national parks and cultural centers for free, you and your family. All right. As we're coming here, and you can also get more details for you to get eligibility and other details. And this is a step-by-step process of the application itself. Again, summarizing the qualification criteria, and even as minors, you can apply. There are different ways. Let's say if the minor has one of the parent as citizen, Canadian citizen, or maybe both the parents are not Canadian citizen, but they're still applying. So you can apply that way as well, right? So, yeah. And there are some other details here. that you have to please go through those. And the physical presence is quite important. And you have to, when you're submitting the application, you have to give all the days. You have to clearly mention all the days you're in Canada and out of Canada, and that is, and there's a calculator that calculates your physical presence as part of the application. Taxes, as we kind of touched upon. This is what the English I was talking about. If you are in this bracket of, this is your age, then you are to submit, English exam or even diplomas and others that you studied in English medium, secondary or post-secondary. Then finally, you have to pass the citizenship test. There are obviously exceptions to all this, but if it applies to you, you can take care of that. Okay. So once we're done with that, now let's go into application itself, right? And just run through that real quick. Let's say we are applying online. As you're doing it, you can, click this link right here. The first time when you click it, and this is how it looks, right? Where you obviously wouldn't have an account, so you have to create an account. And you have to have an email and password, right? You have to give an email and password, and then they will send a verification code to your email and put that, just the regular authentication. And then once you're in, you can apply, start filling your application. And once you're in it, this is how it looks, right? Here, in this case, I actually created one application just so that we can get through this video pretty quickly. But let's say if you didn't, then you can click create an application. As soon as you create it, I just want to show you this real quick. You get these three options. Are you an adult who is applying? Are you a minor who has one of the parents as Canadian citizen? Or are you a minor who doesn't have either of your parents Canadian citizen, and this will apply to you? Okay, so you can select one of those. Since I'm not going to do this, I already have an application sort of. Let's go through that, right? And here's the point that I want to underline. Let's say you as an adult, you can apply, and then you can add your children to it, right? But let's say if you have your spouse, you can invite your spouse as a co-applicant, and and then your spouse has to fill all that application details by herself or himself, and then that application, her application, let's say your spouse's, will be tied to this application together, and all of them will be submitted together. That means, let's say, in my case, let's say I invite my wife. My wife get the invitation, and she creates her login, very similar to how I did it, and she fills all that and submits it, right? Then I will know here that she kind of completed her process, like filling out the application. And then I create and let's say, my children too here, and then I can pay all of their fees at once and submit it all, and our entire family application will be treated as one. Yeah. And all these individual applications should be complete for it to go through. All right, this one is created. So I'm going to go through, click continue. Okay. And this is how it looks. When you start your application, this is how it looks, right? So it starts with personal information. You have personal information, contact, identification, residence, and tax, work and school, prohibitions, language proof, physical presence, consent, and optional documents. And then you pay fee, and then you sign. That's it. So all the steps, and then you sign. Yeah. So the first one is, okay, we want to do it in services in English. And special accommodations, now your UCI number, this will be on your COPR or other immigration documents. It starts with UCI number, and it should be a 10-digit number. Put that in there, and you can enter your name. In this case, I entered Citus Immigration. There's all this usual questions. Did your name change? All that details, gender, and here physical details, height, date of birth, and all that stuff. And again, have you corrected your date of birth in the past? Place of your birth, your marital status, and as soon as you go through that, go through your details of your email, your home address. I just pick some random address here, and is your mailing address same as your home address? Basic stuff, and your cell phone or your phone contact details, and then is anybody helping you with this application, right? So if you have a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, like we are, right? You can, then they can help you with all this. If not, then you just click, no, I'm filling it by myself. Yeah. And the same thing right here. If you want to IRCC, do you want to appoint a representative, communicate, conduct? Okay. If you want to have a representative, then you select otherwise no. Okay. All right, further identification. Here's an important thing, right? So when you're taking your digital photo, you have to go to a photographer to get all these details, right? So, and you can just, go to a reputed photographer who knows how to take Canadian citizenship pictures, and you can give them all the details beforehand. If you're doing this, you should have a picture already, yeah? And the picture should be 4 mg file size, pixels, JPEG, and there's a lot of formats here. You can upload that. And this is what they need. They need the photographer information, name, address, country, all that stuff, when the photo was taken. Yeah. And here you should have personal identifications, which is like your PR card, your passport, driver's license, all those stuff. Yeah. And here it says, you can see it's passport, and even this is nice. Even if your PR card is expired, you can use that. Yeah. So that's the usual stuff. And here, this is residence and tax information. The next one, it says list all the addresses inside and outside Canada during the last 5 years. So as part of this application, IRCC is looking for your details in the last 5 years from today, right? So, add your, details of your current address, right? Where you are right now, and then go backwards, last 5 years, and then add your, from and to address when basically where were you in the last 5 years, and save each address every time. And this goes into your police certificates. In the last 4 years, were you in any country or territory other than Canada for 183, basically more than 6 months, right? Approximately 6 months. Were you in any country? If you're yes, then you need police certificates. If you're not, then no. I have a feeling that you probably won't be, because if you are applying for citizenship, you should be in the last 3 years. Most of the people may not, have to do this, but if you do, then you have to, get your police certificates too. Please take that time into consideration too, because these police certificates do take time, and you have to wait for them. So, yeah. And then income taxes, if you have a SIN number, TTN applies, or ITN, then you have to update that. And your citizenship status in other countries and all that, and your travel documents, how many passports do you held, and all that stuff you should give right here. And here's where we go into work, school, activities. Okay, here's where this part of application is looking for your employment details, your education details in the last 5 years. So what, where were you employed? What was your occupation? And then let's say this is your, work. So you give that. If that doesn't apply, then you're, unemployed, or other details, you can fill that in. And if you're doing schooling, you can add that too in the last 5 years. Okay, these are the usual ones. If this applies to you, obviously put yes and give the reason. If not, just no, right? So imprisoned, you're on probation, parole, serving offense outside Canada, are you in any trial process? Have you, citizenship rejected any time, or all that stuff? Just go through that. You probably would have gone through similar questions in your immigration till date. Have you, and then once you're done, check that box and then move forward. Ideally, you don't use this. You click next, right? That's part of the saving as well, right? And so you also have this save on the top right as well. And then next one is a language proof. You can click this. That will tell you what are the language documents that are accepted. And if you have it, just click yes. And then obviously you can, upload all of these, right? So letter from the institution, post-secondary education diploma or certificate or things like that. Or you have English test, right? It takes, do you have IELTS or IELTS general, or CALPIP, right? If they are expired, that should be fine. Or if you have all these French exams, you can do that as well. or academic records. Yeah, then so they would click next. And this is where the physical presence is calculated. I just randomly put a date. But see, as you can see this, I'm filling this on March 28th. Right. So this is looking at from all the way from March 27th, that is yesterday, to 2019, March 28th, 5 years, right? And I just basically put in this application that I did not travel anywhere. I was in Canada, right? So it just kind of calculated all my details. But let's say if you had, been outside Canada to visit your family, business, or whatever, do that. You can fill that in. It's very similar to this work, school kind of thing, right? You just have to add the dates, right? And then once you do that, and then, for example, let's say this is how it looks, right? These are the questions. It's, in the last, did you work for Canada government? Was one of your spouses, or were they working for it, and all that? And then, you add these details. And then once you do that, you calculate the physical presence. You immediately know, oh, you are eligible, you're not, or you're not, right? And then you can go to the next one. And consent is basically that you're being truthful about all your information, and then how do you want your certificate eventually, if it goes through. You can give that electronic or paper. Optional documents, other documents that you think may help your citizenship. The letters, cover letters, different things. You can put it in here. Once it's done, then you come into this pay your fees. And interesting thing about this one is that by the time you come here, this is a completely different website, right? This is a pay your application fee. You can open this page in a new tab. Ideally, I would do this before this application, right? So check if you are eligible, right? And all these payments. And I would come here to option fee list, and I would say, it's for citizenship, right? Continue, right? And then this opens up, and here I don't want all this. So 18 years and over, processing fee 530, and the right of citizenship 100. So basically 630. So let's say if I'm an adult 1 right here, right? And then I click submit. As soon as I click that, as you can see, it shows $630, right? I'm just submitting by myself. But if I want me and my wife, let's say 2, and then we have, let's say 1 child, for example, I'm just going to put 1, right? And then when I submit it, that'll be the total number, right? That I can actually pay, log in and pay. So when you click login and pay here, and it's assuming you have a login. If you don't, then you create one. Yeah. And then you have to basically click register. So you click register, you put your email address, go in there and all that stuff, and then go through that. Yeah, that's the steps. So assuming that you uploaded your fee, once you pay your fee, you get a confirmation. So upload that confirmation. And then once you're done with all that, then you will be ready to do this. Then all this page, review and sign, you will see all the check boxes. It says ready, and then check boxes, and then you click continue. And then you basically say, yes, it's all true and everything. You consent to submit it. Once you submit it, the next steps really would be is, IRCC would once they accept your application, assuming you have submitted everything you needed to, then you get confirmation that they received it, right? And from then on, you can create. They'll give you the letter too, right? That they received it, and you can create another account to track your progress of your citizenship as well. And so it looks into your background. They do some background checks, your language checks, your citizenship test that'll be part of this, your oath ceremony, all that stuff, right? So they have like 5-6 different steps that they go through. And you should be checking your emails, because that is how they communicate. And then once you create this account to check the progress, that's another way for you to know where you're at. Yeah. All right. Hope you got a kind of summary of how to apply for a citizenship application for Canada citizenship. Let us know if you have any questions and comments. Appreciate your support to the channel, and thanks for subscribing. Cheers. Bye.